Yes.
What's going on, Internet? What's going on, everyone?
Hey, World Wide Web and your miraculous tubes and educational structure that you're giving our children. Thank you so much.
And continue in space.
He showed up again for Andor.
We're here.
We are here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for consuming 3 hours of content of your life.
Oh yeah, and then on top of that, consuming us.
Right? Yeah,
And
correct.
consume away because we're free.
I mean, yeah. Think about it.
Where there wasn't this much reading on a weekly basis. Like, you know what I mean? There's no way I was doing 3 hours of reading for like Psych 101, right? There's no way it was that much.
Right. No, not at all.
Disney's running ragged.
It's crazy though. If you think about it, yeah, you're doing 3 hours of the show, and then like you're watching us for an hour. You might be watching another streamer. I mean, there are people consuming maybe like 10 hours a week, of Star Wars. But Disney right now
content each week. Oh yeah. It's
not to mention
and they're not wearing out. They're not worn out. They're not tired. I mean, they're ready for more. They just open up and say, we're here for you.
We were just talking about how we had to fly over stuff last week that we didn't like the dinner with mommy. Like we didn't even talk about that, and it was awesome. It's like one of the best. It's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. We really barely scratched the surface. We were talking about how we might need to unpack this in more detail later, just because it's so dense and it's so much. It's a lot. It is a lot of content to have to parse through, and
we'll have to go back and do a retrospective. We'll do a best
wrap up and everything.
Yeah, we'll do a wrap up and we'll hit
best moment.
But if you want to comment live while we're going on things that we might be missing, tell us, and we'll definitely harp on you for it. So.
Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but on top of all this content, we talk about the hours. Tales of the Underworld comes out in 2 days as well. So
yeah,
so we're all about that. Yeah.
So much stuff coming out. We might have to start charging for email. I don't know.
I don't have another 2 hours of my life. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to have to wait till after Andor. But the good news
is those are only.
I even talking.
They're going to do like 1 or 2. I don't know if they're going to do all of them together, but they might do like 1 a week or something. But they're probably going to be like like the 15-minute kind of stories.
Oh, they're not going to drop them all at once.
Did they do the Tales of the Jedi? I forget.
They dropped them all at once last couple seasons.
I guess
and we split our podcast up over.
You're right. I just read it. All episodes will be on May 4th. So May the 4th, they're releasing the whole series. So that'll be something for us to get into.
This is a short main problem that they have, right? Too much of Star Wars content in any 1 week. But this is before we start talking about the content itself. Now that we've seen this release model, it is a lot at once, but it's very satisfying. I like it.
Right.
What do you guys think?
I think 4 weeks is the sweet spot for me because, like, when we do these, like, say if this was 12 episodes, 12 weeks, I mean, it's great talking with you guys and spending the time, but it gets kind of stale because it's so drawn out. You know what I mean? It's almost like you lose appreciation for what you have.
We appreciate you.
Then if you take it to Netflix route with the Stranger Things in their series, if you release it all at once, it's almost like they're and gone. You got people binge watching the show in a day, and then it's like, okay, cool. When am I getting next season? I'm like, bro, it took them like 9 months to film, and then all this and that, and you watch it in 12 hours. Like, you want more already. So maybe this might be something that they're on to, but I mean, we clamor for this all the time. They have to make all these series around 40 plus minutes if they're going to do something like this. 40 to 50-minute run times, you can do it like this, but for the most part, we've seen that a lot of these shows are maybe 28 minutes. So
I think then they will have to the wool over our eyes. I think they filmed this as 4 movies and they split each one up into 3 chapters, and I mean these feel like these are connected. They don't feel like episodes to me. That's my personal opinion. These feel like one big long, one long part.
Yeah,
like a movie.
One section.
3 acts, scripts are 3 acts. It's the traditional breakup.
Right.
How you do things. And
so we're probably gonna get the darker, we're probably gonna get the dark chapter coming up next. Like it's gonna be a lot of effort. I think our rebellion is gonna get started, but it's gonna get trenched down in Krennic's gonna get have a hand in making their life a little bit miserable. He was great. I mean, that scene with the collectors and going through I was like, wow, here's Mon Mothma, here's Director Krennic in the same room. And what did Luthen say? Because I was thinking it. Well, you should have killed him right there, shouldn't you?
Right.
Oh man, that was such a classic line at the end there. We could have should just come on, we was there.
Just
have a laugh.
You have a Pope, the architect of the Holocaust, essentially, right? The person personally responsible for the death of every man, woman, and child on Alderaan. We know that because we know the future, right? So yeah, it's like a baby Hitler question. He's right. You really should have killed him. What would it have mattered? I don't know. Who cares? But he still should have killed him.
Well, you'd have to take him and Tarkin out.
I have this thing about Nazis. I don't know. It's too many.
I'm pretty sure the Empire and the Third Reich are basically the same thing. I'm pretty sure you are correct about that. Yeah, with your stereotype. You're stereotyping a soldier with a German accent, British accent, as a Nazi. Good job. You have nailed it on the head.
Genocidal madman. But that's, again, you're right. It's neither here nor there. You're right. I shouldn't be drawing comparisons.
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough. Pretty sure someone in the Reichstag said that at some point in the 40s.
I mean, at the end of the day, Krennic is still a foot soldier. I mean, you still have to deal with like Palpy and Vader and stuff. They could easily get somebody to replace. Maybe not easily, but they could get somebody to replace him.
I agree. The fish rots from the head, as we've seen. It's not like we have to worry about like, is Palpatine in fact an evil like ghoul who wants to suck all the life out of the galaxy for himself? Yes, he is. And we know that about him.
I'm really digging the ISB. Like, I think they are. I want to see.
Not the IBS.
I would definitely
out all the enemies of the Empire.
And it's funny, the IBS or the ISB, whatever, they're as evil. I don't know who's eviler. Who's more seditious?
And you see the banality of it, right? Because and I do want to talk about this setting, but it starts all the way from, hey, we should probably investigate this murder. And if you just think about it from like a standpoint of what's right and wrong, is investigating, a crime a good thing or not? And the answer is yes, it probably is. But you see, like because the Empire is oriented toward evil, how that leads to all this crazy chaos that's going on for them. All the way, it goes like those little dominoes, all the way up to the destruction of the thing that the Emperor said, he needed to put the systems in line. So I thought this was a great set of episodes also because it gave us more of that let us see what the Empire was like. Like the Senate has always been this nebulous thing, and we saw it active in the Republic, but how did it change? We saw the Imperial Senate is very different from the Galactic Senate, right? Much more orderly, much more about this oath of loyalty, just very, very, very different. And I really appreciated the eyeballs there.
Yeah, this we didn't even do house cleaning yet. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say before we dive into this, we were gonna do that. Yeah, before we actually jump into it. I know Ken was excited and kind of glazed.
Oh He jumped in the ocean, butt naked, you know.
Let's just do it.
All right. So nerdcyclopedia.com, people, your favorite website. You will get all your favorite social media at Nerdcyclopedia, X, Facebook, Instagram, and also on TikTok. Make sure that you listen to us on podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Odyssey, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Guess what? We're there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Make sure that you smash that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification button so anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. If you're on Facebook as well, thank you for watching us on at Nerdcyclopedia. Make sure that you're sharing us. We love you. Love you sharing our content and everything. Send us an email too. The free email that we're still offering, nerdcyclopediafeedback@gmail.com. We love to get your feedback. It's still free.
It's still free.
Okay, but what's the benefit? Because we talk about the value at free. Hard to fail the value proposition, I guess. But what's the benefit if the thing is that it's a free email to us? I will tell you one benefit. If you can vent it all out. Is there something you didn't like? Is there something you did like? Vent it out to us. It costs you nothing. And then we have to read it. We're obligated. I hate to, I don't know if I told these guys this. We're required to read these emails as they come in.
Yes.
So they can be terrible. Terrible emails.
It doesn't matter when. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. It could be Central Time.
The notification,
read it.
If it's about Jar Jar Binks and how I'm wrong,
man.
I have to read that. It's just the rule. So just to let everybody know, the benefit is you can make me sad by telling me I'm wrong about Jar Jar Binks being a waste of time. So that's a benefit to you.
If you want to torture Hitch, go ahead.
Harsh words.
Speaking of Jar Jar Binks, in Star Wars, I don't know if you guys, I don't play the game or not, but Fortnite just released their largest ever expansion, which is their Star Wars Galaxy expansion with Darth Jar Jar on there. Literally, this is their largest. This is Fortnite's largest rollout ever. Like, I mean, ever. It was bigger than that Travis Scott, I guess, live stream he did.
And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. If you can outdo that.
Massive. So yeah.
Massive.
So that live concert, yeah. So this Star Wars expansion they've rolled out is going to be like the largest. They're looking at the gate receipts as far as purchases and stuff. Like, and everybody's in there. They got Luke Skywalker. There's Mandalorians. This literally covered. The way they rolled it out, there's about, I don't know, maybe like 20 different skins, I guess you can choose from, and guns and all this stuff. But this is Fortnite's largest ever like collab and rollout, and it's like crazy massive, I guess. So it's big for Star Wars and our content for them to grow. More revenue streams for them, and if that means more money for us, then they put more money in the film side and create content like this for us. So it's great.
Or practical.
Yeah. Let's
right.
Keep it practical.
Please.
Yeah, get out of the volume. Keep it practical. Go outside sometimes. It looks so much better out there.
Fortnite has to add Andor into it now. Like, they got to get a Director Krennic skin and a Bix skin. We have to see that. I want to see it. I'll buy it.
I want to.
This show reminds me so. Oh man, Saw. Hey, we gotta get talking about the show. Saw was classic, classic, crazy. I mean, he's like the Joker. He's like the Joker in Dark Knight. You don't know what he's gonna do.
He's definitely. That was a great scene.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Sometimes, but if in fact Batman was like an agent of the fascist government, right? And the Joker was doing these things in resistance to the fascist government. Would the Joker be the Joker? Would the Joker be more like this dude who's just the ends justify the means, because what matters is there a fire? They're just asked like we're the Rido. What a great speech. And Forrest Whitaker's been doing this stuff since like Apocalypse Now, right? Like forever. No, wait, that's Lawrence Fishburne. I'm so dumb. All right, anyway.
Same type of character. And I like that he revealed a little bit about his backstory, like where he came from, like what his thing was. He dug himself out of the dirt and lifted himself up. He probably ate his way out of all those dead bodies that he was telling Will about to get to where he is now. And the crazy just keeps getting crazier. And now when I watch Rogue One and I see him, his persona, I get it, and I appreciate him more. Like, even from the beginning, from the first moment you see him. Of course, we saw him in what was it? Resistance, right? We saw him.
No, not Resistance. We saw him in Rebels, right?
Bad Batch.
Was it Rebels?
Oh, right, yeah, not Resistance. I'm sorry, yeah.
Was it Clone Wars, wasn't it? Or was it no?
It was a younger Saw.
Yeah.
Him and his sister? And his sister gets shot?
Yeah.
I feel like that was Clone Wars, and then he was later on in the other stuff too, because
he popped up later.
More, like, I feel like he's also part of the rebels that Team 99 gets sent to wipe out, and they get there and they're like, they're just regular people, and so I was like, yes, we're regular people. Yeah, we're not crazy.
He's important because
the guy's a gas huffer. He's like huffing paint like Charlie.
He hasn't gotten there yet. He has this one is he's like hasn't been destroyed yet.
Yeah, the laughing gas. He's not on the gas yet.
But he's not adhering to Luthen's idea of how the rebellion should work. Like, with this structure, he's just off the rail. He's doing whatever he wants, and it benefits him, but it also benefits the rebellion in the end. And that's what he's trying to tell Will. Like, that's what he's trying to explain to him. You're here right now, ready to fight. That's all that counts. Just, are you willing to do what you need to do right now? Kind of what Val was telling the Cormans. Like, shut up, do what we're told. Do what you're told. Don't think. Just do.
Have you guys seen the thing that's going around about could 100 people beat a gorilla in hand-to-hand combat? And the answer is yes, but not. You don't end up with 100 people at the end, right?
Oh, you definitely.
Wait, what websites do you look at that's the subject matter? What are you looking at?
It's a viral thing going all around, Ken. It's
been making.
It's one of those of the moment things. It's crazy.
I don't even know how's that even possible? 100 people beats a gorilla. There's no way.
Look, we all know that at a certain point there are enough people to win because we won, right? So at a certain point, lower than 8 billion, right? It's lower than that. So it's, if you want to say it's higher than 100, fine. I don't care. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
100 people.
That encounter with a very powerful enemy, there will be inevitable losses. There's the very point of like a cavalry chart is called the forlorn hope, because you would kind of assume that the edge is where the most danger is. That's why it's where the most honor, like in the old shield wall days, that's where the honor is in the front, because that's where all that takes place. And what I think Saw is saying here is, look, you can't be out here on the edge, on the cutting edge, and be living like you have other stuff to live for. You can't do it. And I think that this is a common theme in these sorts of tales. Like Band of Brothers had a really great arc like this with Captain Winters, right? Where it's like, all right, how far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? Like, what's it like? What are you willing to allow, like, for victory? So I really appreciate that, and I think that's, what does Wilmot have? Like, what are you afraid of, Wilmot? Like you've already chosen to become an outlaw. You're out here. Like, what are you worried about? Like, the odds of you surviving the next 6 months are pretty low, even if all you're doing is the insanely dangerous intelligence missions that Cassian and Luthien are going to send you on. Like, your survival rate is so low. So why be so cringy, man?
And just before we get out just about the gorilla thing, it's important to understand that this is a hypothetical scenario, and it is never safe to provoke or fight with wild animals.
It's not even safe to bargain with a gorilla about
No,
this.
they're not even getting that far.
There
Like,
could be communication
idea
one-on-one.
unethical.
Just do that.
So everyone should stop talking about it. We don't want to start attacking gorillas. That's a terrible thing. There's no reason. They're a peaceful animal just trying to find its way in the world, and we don't need to send humans to fight it.
Yeah, but you know, if you get enough people, you win.
I mean, if you get 100 folks, you know, maybe, you know.
Someone's getting the first fist, first arm. Like that's like, you know.
It's not even that. They know what this.
I'm going to be absent that day. I'm just not going to come in. If that's what's going on.
Well, I mean, that this is a question I think the show is pretty much asking. Like, what are you? Your life is pretty much done. So, what are you? It's the conversation that risk. How much are you willing to risk? Are you willing to go all the way? Luthen is pushing because he knows these people are going to have to sacrifice with Gorn and everything. He's
pushing, and Mon is pushing.
Mon is going to have to make the ultimate choice.
Yes, with her family, correct? She's sacrificing the most.
Yeah,
Cassian is still like. One day he's all in. The next day he's, you know what? I got Bix, and I just want to get my life going here. I just want to get a nice little like family.
Luthen is trying to tell him that's not going to work. You got to decide. All these people got to make choices. Up. That's what Saul was trying to say. You can't be living on the edge like that.
Yep.
You know,
and the final scene where and Bix, oh my God, taking out Gorst like that. And just as they were walking away, I thought, you know, she really should have destroyed that machine because someone else is just going to learn how to use it. And guess what? Andor Cassie is like, and that's when now I think Cassian has now motivation because now he can do rebellion stuff with Bix. Like they're now a team. And they each have motivation, and now he's set. So now we're going to see him more set in his directive. I see more Rogue One Cassian right now than in the previous 5 episodes.
I wonder if Luthen is still going to split them up because wasn't he trying to split up the girls?
Yes,
he was. Yeah, he noticed it. Yeah. Well, it seems like with Luthen, when you guys are right. Any kind of, it's almost like the dichotomy. You know, it's crazy to me and his talk about this. It's almost like he's a Jedi because he has this thing with attachment, and Jedi can't have attachment. So when these characters start getting attachment to one another, he's still going to try to break it. Like, you know, and that's a very Jedi-like trait, which is weird, you know, in a sense. But I don't know. I don't think he's a Jedi because I just think his foresight into the future and whatnot would be a little better. So I'm pretty sure to say he may. I mean, if he's a Jedi, he pretty much is like completely shut off of the Force. But it's some of his mannerisms are kind of Jedi-like. I will say.
I agree. I agree. I don't think he's like you said. I don't think he's a Jedi. But I think his ship is a Jedi starfighter repurposed.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of good technology on there, like from the Jedi Starfighter games. You guys play those? So
through that, vibes from Andor this year.
Yeah, there was that. So he stole it or repurposed it from somebody, and that
I think he's bought it from somebody. I mean, he seems like one of those slimy guys that like a Jedi died on a mission, and he was the guy that was like, yeah, I'll pay 20,000 credits for the ship, bring it to me. He's like one of those guys, that like just buys everything, kind of like an auctioneer, He just like, I mean, if you've seen his facility, yeah, he's one of those guys that will buy anything at the best price and resell it. So
yeah,
he would be what we call, he's like Mac Bid right now. I guess that's like the hot thing in the Northeast. He's like the Mac Bid,
Mac Bid of Coruscant.
He's the Mac Bid of Coruscant.
Hey, crap.
Come on down and pick up your pallet of crap.
I love that listening device subplot. It's such a spy thing. there's so many stories about that. There was a listening device in this big eagle that the Russians gave the American embassy in Moscow or something, and it would work when they shined a radio wave at it or something insane. Like there's all this crazy technology. So I love the tension of that scene. I love the juxtaposition of the two heists in episode 6, how they have one going right, one going wrong. I love I love how they have the visual language of the zoom in shot. Like those are the ones, the random ones that you have to pay attention to. I'm a fan of Gorman. Gorman is screwed. Like no matter what happens next, Gorman is going to cease to exist. And
or
no,
they might be okay. They might be all right.
The Emperor has decided that
Gorman is done.
So nothing they do, like not escalating, doesn't matter. Escalating doesn't matter. Luthien is absolutely right to say the best thing they can do now that the Emperor has chosen them for destruction is to burn as bright as possible. He's just correct. Does he know that? No, he doesn't know that for sure. But if he's thinking about the struggle against the Empire as being, worthwhile and also realistically, do you think you're going to topple Sheev Palpatine's empire without a pile of bodies? I mean, a pile of bodies? The answer is no.
Is Palpatine the gorilla?
Palpatine is the gorilla, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now I get it. Okay. Now I understand where you were going with that.
But Andor's, when you have an attachment to somebody, like that makes every struggle personal, right? Like would I agree to be conscripted? Yes. If they were attacking my home and my family, right? I think we would all agree with that. We would all say yes to that. So we agree that when we have attachment, it is proximal. But to Luthien, if they have these attachments, it makes them impossible for them to even see the forest, to see like, look, they're on the chessboard. And if you're on the chessboard, you can get sacrificed. It happens to queens all the time on the chessboard. There's very famous, you can look them up, very famous games with queen sacrifices. So Luthien needs these people to function at 100%. And if you're trying to get home to your woman and you say to yourself, this is too risky, that's not the best thing for the galaxy. That's not the best thing for the rebellion. That's not the best thing for the intelligence organization. The best thing to do is help them be successful and then get out of Dodge, right? But Andor is not able to do that because he has this attachment to Val. And Val is better because she'll at least be like, give me Cinta. Put her on this mission. I'll put it out with her. Like we'll risk it together. We'll see how she acts now. Do you think she's going to stay in Gorman after this? No.
Yeah, sure.
The Empire is now
she's still got the mission.
So big that it can crack the planet. And that's already what they were going to do. They were already going to, let's say they found that Avatar metal under Pittsburgh and they were like, we're just going to dig it all out. Right? I mean, Pittsburgh it's not like Pittsburgh would be functional at the end of that process. As I said.
But we didn't even see really any of that. And I think that's a Saul Guerrera task, is to mess with the mining of that material. I mean, that's a get your hands dirty type of espionage thing. That's not something that Luthen's clean, money laundering rebellion is going to do. I think you got to get Saul in there with his guerrilla terrorists to take care of that. And I think Gorman front seems to be pretty solid and kind of into the job. They're not afraid to publicly meet and verbally go loud with their the idea that they don't want this to happen, that they know something's wrong and they are not going to let it happen on their planet. So I don't think Gorman's going to be a character in this. I think this was just a, what do they call it? It was a distraction. It's a distraction.
Bump in the road. A bump in the road.
just something. I think we're going full on now with attack. The Empire building the Death Star and blowing up planets, and I think we're going to see a little more than just spiders. Although the spiders were cool.
How about the spiderweb motifs as the cross, double cross, triple cross plans start getting layered on top of each other, and you have the whole Gorman like cabal. You have Deidre's thing she's running with Cyril. You have Cyril's play over top of the because it's his information that's setting this all up. You have the Gorman front working back with Andor, working back through Luthien, working back to Vel, which is if Vel gets captured, I would imagine, they're just gonna know who she is because she's like, the senator. It'd be like, like if
right, she's the senator's cousin.
Yeah, she's the senator.
She is.
Krennic knows who Mon Mothma. They all know who Mon Mothma is. They're all watching her. They're all watching Chandrilla. It would be bad news. I would imagine that would trigger your need to become a refugee and run to the rebellion at some point in time between now and episode 6. So at some point,
fairly soon,
clearly. So man, these episodes set this all up so well, and we see this guy is Gilroy. He's Tony Gilroy's the Bourne identity and the Bourne supremacy. That guy. So you can see all the plots winding back into each other, but everybody's still working and having clear motivations the whole time.
Right.
How about the dialogue between Mon and Krennic? About law. I mean, that was just some deep. That was just some crazy stuff. And those are some two great actors right there. That's
big time. And she hates him. Mon hates Krennic for reasons, not the reasons that we want her to hate him for. She knows he's adversarial, and I think she was trying to get him to help her with something because he was on the witness stand for some reason, right? She was cross-examining him, and he, I think, lied to her, betrayed her in a political way. So I don't think she hates him because of what we think she should hate him for. It's deeper. It's deeper than that.
Yeah, imagine if you were looking at you were like seeing a story that was set in 1936, and they were like, "Hey, this guy's name was med student Joe Mangala, and he also was kind of a jerk to the main character, also. So yeah, we really think you should hate him, but also I just hate him because he's a jerk. Like it has nothing to do with what's about to happen. I do hate him.
He's just a jerk.
Also, he's a jerk. It's like that's the thing with Krennic. He's also a jerk. he's a murdering psychopath.
But isn't there a little bit of respect there too? Because wouldn't she have just slapped him or punched him or something? I mean, she's got to respect him on a leader level. Because even managers and directors,
too much of a lady.
You think?
I don't think
the future leader of the rebellion is she? I mean, yes.
Well,
yes,
not yet.
But she's building herself up to it. I mean, she's going to be
all the nice clothes and everything that she's wearing. Right, Amon is sharp. She comes out. She comes out with some nice outfits every time she's on the scene. By the time she gets to
and she's got nails there too.
Yeah. So by the time we get to the end of the series, I expect all that to start wearing out. Her hair is going to start being down. It's not going to be she's going to be as glamorous and everything. Because of what's coming. That's my stuff. That's my expectation on where she's headed. And by the time we get to Rogue One,
or bear with me on this, we do a special edition and we put some wild, awesome Mon Mothma outfits back into the original trilogy.
Yeah, because we know Star Wars loves their special editions, right?
Why not? If we're gonna put crazy stuff, why not put cool stuff in there? Come on, that the Mon Mothma's just gonna wear a regular white.
One thing I do I do want to ask when because I'm not watching Rogue One, but I did watch a scene, and the thing I guess that struck out, to me was the music versus what we hear in Andor. The mood and everything. The mood in one is a tad lighter and not as tense, as we get in these. And you need set of episodes to just basically your period and everything. So if I was to do a special edition of Andor, it will probably be to replace the whole soundtrack, the whole
sound,
thing.
And you're right, the soundtrack's real subdued and real light, and it doesn't. Yeah. It could be there or not be there because what's going on with the dialogue or the scene, action, whatever it is, the music is not lifting it like it does. But that's a movie. You're talking about the difference between a movie and these are TV series, and it's always a lighter element. It's always played down.
But if you're watching it if you're watching it as a whole, and this, I mean, it's what it is, what it is, and everything, because it all gets thrown out the window when we get to a new. It's just a whole different thing. But if that was my only thing, like I said, to do a special edition would be to replace the soundtrack.
No, I can get what you're saying. I think when that came out, it was kind of in that safe Disney space, and what we've seen with Disney and Star Wars and Marvel, that they're taking more risk. And this show is taking a lot darker tone, even with season 1, right? Even though it was shot in like the city center and whatnot, and it still took on a very dark tone. So I think that the soundtrack, you're right, it's a lot more fitting to what the stakes are. Before, like you were saying, it was more theatrical, like upbeat. And the thing about, like, even the end of the show, like when they were all sacrificing and dying, it didn't have kind of like that you would want it more drums, you know what I mean? Like more percussion, like it's something like that, a lot more to put more
I think
emphasis
safe is the right word to use as far as that. I'm shocked that Rogue One even got made. I'm shocked.
Oh, especially with the ending.
What we got.
Yeah.
I
mean, think about it. That's one of the first movies that Disney has really produced that there wasn't like a happy ending, right? I mean, that was like it ended like literally sacrifice, like boom, you're dead. Like,
well, what wasn't happy about that? They were together, him and Jen. On this beautiful beach.
Everybody loves a hero. Everybody loves a hero.
Sunset.
They would have loved for a ship to come down to.
And just
the plans did get delivered.
Correct.
Right. Plans got uploaded. We saw them get to Leia. And what are these? And what does she say? Hope. I mean, it was the happiest ending. I mean, in any Star Wars film. I mean, as happy as any other ending. Yes, Cassian died, but okay, a lot of people die in rebellions. There's a lot of sacrifice.
I mean, eventually life does end.
I love the idea that, like, this is the level, like that's the level it has to get to before Darth Vader gets involved. And like, I hope don't bring Vader in for some cameo because he's already there with the crescendo. Like, this is, all this crap you're doing now. Vader's like, I'm too busy.
Too busy.
That is too low level, low management. That's too above, but below my grade and everything. Yeah. I mean, Hitch, you were so right.
I think we'll be Tarkin before we see Vader. Honestly,
I don't know. I mean, think about it at this period, though, right? So this is at the period where they're creating the Death Star. They're probably looking at this is probably pre-cloning stages, right? When Palpatine, this is before, because I believe probably one of those facilities, I guess, are the Death Star. So this is the point where he realizes his body is starting to break down and he needs a way to basically live forever, right? The whole Darth Plagueis thing. So I believe that, I think you're right. Maybe their focus is not only on this weapon, but Palpatine's focus is on obviously coming up with the funds to be able to fund this thing, and also find a way to extend his life. And basically, like he said, Vader's kind of his henchman at this point, going over, dealing with things that might, maybe if the Pikes or a syndicate aren't agreeing to the terms of what they want, with their resources, then he sends Vader. So I think, and they kind of hint to it on the show, kind of briefly, like Palpatine, like, we don't want this to get to him, basically, we don't want this to go to the CEO. We talk about it in our corporate life, bad. Like, you don't want this to go to the CEO. Let us go to a manager. Let us go to a supervisor. You don't want it to go to corporate.
He gets to decide all. And that means it's somebody's fault. So no, you don't want the Emperor to know about it. I don't want the Emperor to know.
Think about it. Darth Vader basically is HR at this point. That's the worst. That's the worst version of HR.
There's been some problems here, and we're here to get to the bottom of them.
He's an HR manager right now.
He's an HR manager. He can choke you. He can extract information. Like, he's the perfect HR manager.
People are extroverts, and others are introverts. You have to respect.
Hey, it's essentially that's what he ended up doing at the end of Rogue One, right? I mean, he had to come in there and start slicing and dicing.
Right at the end, because it got bad enough. I mean, they've talked about the Emperor. They've talked about Tarkin. Like, they've mentioned those two characters pretty much in every episode. So we're going to have to see them. I mean, they're setting that up. They're setting it up that we're going to see Tarkin. I think we'll see him because
I think we'll see Tarkin. I'll be shocked if we see Palpy.
Yeah, that would be a lot. I mean, because we didn't even see him in Rogue One. I mean, he wasn't even in Rogue One, and Rogue One's about as Emperor-driven as you could want. We want to see Emperor Palpatine in Rogue One somewhere.
He could be on TV as the Emperor. One of my questions is always like, so they're opening the Imperial Senate. Would he give like a speech? He's basically the crown prince, right? He's like the heir. So you'd figure he'd be at these balls, like just being like a weird lurky dude that everyone's absolutely.
The Emperor?
No, Darth Vader. He'd have to be around.
He doesn't go to parties like that.
I mean, you have to go to.
He doesn't go to those sort of things.
Doesn't he have to be around sometimes?
Because they don't have anywhere that he can plug in his respirator and charge his. It's just not. It's not feasible for him to go to those types of parties. He doesn't get invited anywhere.
He doesn't keep in mind. Yeah, I forgot about that, Ken. You're right. At this point, I mean, if this is the same time frame, which it is, of Rogue One, he's actually on Mustafar, right? And he has to be in the Bacta tank. So this is if we think about it, this is like OP Vader, but this is also like Vader getting used to this new body, right? So
reconstructed Vader.
So he probably still is in the Bacta. So he's probably on Mustafar right now, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So kind of like,
so he wouldn't be down with like a big like soiree type of thing. And I don't think the Emperor would either. I mean, could you see him coming in and like bringing everyone down, just like taking the vibe out of the room,
taking the whole joy?
Shoot some fireworks into the air, play, have some
out of his fingertips. Now we will party. I don't know.
952 comes in.
I got a trick for everyone. That'd be pretty cool. Shoot the fireworks, shooting lightning out of his hands. That'd be kind of cool.
What a drinking!
I got a trick for everybody.
Line him up, everyone. Palpatine show us lightning from his fingertips.
There's people willing to die for him. He's got to have some sort of charisma. Like he's got to at least, he's got to be able to give a speech. Or at least glad hand a little bit.
Okay, all right. So here's something. So he has to have some sort of charisma to get people to die for him. What was the deal? What was the deal with Hitler? Like he was short structure, not a very attractive person. What was his deal? Like what did he have that
He lied to the
made
people,
all those
and
people
something that
do
they
what he wanted.
that was not true. That it was true. That they
It was very true. Very
World
true.
War I, they did, in fact. It was a contest decided by arms, not by diplomacy in the end. They were not stabbed in the back by the Jewish and communist population. The communists exited the war early, for those that do not know that. And so those lies that he told the German public, you know, a defeated army that felt because there was not some breakthrough. They quit before there was a breakthrough or a real destruction of the like the homeland of Germany. Like the whole of World War I was fought essentially in France on the Western Front. So there was this prevalence to believe the lie that they didn't lose, when in fact the Americans and they were going to lose. There was going to be a mass envelopment of the German lines if they didn't quit when they quit.
But why? But why him? Why about him?
Well, Hitler became
anybody. Could have been anybody.
Hitler became a celebrity because he tried to overthrow the government of Bavaria in 1923. And when they prosecuted him, the Streisand effect happened. We all understand that in this 2025 America, how that works. So when they prosecuted him, they sent him to jail for a very small amount of time. And he wrote a book that was very popular. You maybe have heard of, called Mein Kampf. And in it, he described how what I basically just described, which is that Germany didn't actually lose World War I. They were stabbed in the back by Jews, gypsies, homosexuals.
And you think that was enough to get everyone to buy into his?
Because you didn't lose. And look, if we were to do it again, and this time we already took care of all those elements in our society and took them out of and evacuated them from our society and purified our society, so those elements that caused us to lose World War I were not present anymore, and we do it again. Well, look, if that's why we lost and they're gone, what's going to happen? That's the lie they told the Germans.
So how did Palpatine get that same effect? And what did he do? And what did he deserve to get the same result?
I mean, we saw him give that speech about how he's scarred. The dark has left me scarred.
But so that was to his Sith minions. That wasn't to the Galactic Empire. That wasn't to the Senate.
That was to the Galactic Senate, which was not pure like he's purged it a bunch in the last 13 years too. Like you can tell that there's not as much
there's less overtones of rebellion with the new Senate than there is with the old Senate, because
the old senators got purged out over time. But to answer your question, I think the lie is that you need the empire. The empire is necessary to maintain security, because when we let people get away with whatever they wanted, we had chaos, we had civil war, we had destruction, and we had death. And the person that ended that is
Palpatine.
And his adopted son is, I'm guessing, the way that we all think about it, Darth Vader, who is the person that personally ended the resistance of the Confederation of Planets. So
sounds like a win-win for both sides to me.
Well, look, if he were still alive, would Dwight Eisenhower still be the president of the United States? It's possible, right? Maybe. So that it's not a crazy thing to think that you could win that sort of a victory and then use that political capital to adjust the system to entrench your own power over time. And then once you have enough and you don't have to maybe slap any backs anymore, you can just govern by implication. The implication, which is you're going to do what I say or else I'm going to crack your planet in half.
Fear of the local systems in line. Fear of this battle station. Okay. Now we understand.
Eliminate all funding of NPR and PBS to. Well, let me stop.
We don't need to talk parallels. It is. I mean, it's not crazy when you're writing in the middle of the crisis, but there are lots of parallels. We talked about it last week with the immigration pieces, right? This week we have We have some more stuff, right? We have more corruption. Government.
They're building the story right out of our local news. I mean, honestly,
I don't like
it's
that.
like it's all Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening. A lot of this is happening right now in some scale. Maybe not as big as what we're looking at on the screen, but a lot of the conflicts.
Well, I think what I say earlier, what Andor is trying to say is that over these years, you know, people are comfortable. Things happen in pieces over time. You know, so as all this craziness happens, you know, when a rebellion keeps forming and the empire keeps getting entrenched and everything, either we're going to get used to our lives, or either they're going to get used to the lives that they're living, or you know, Luthen is trying to push the Gorman thing, you know, to shine that bright light, so people will actually see, okay, this could happen to you, you know. Let's like, you know, this fire, you know, needs to be burned bright, so everybody can see it and start actually doing something, you know. And he said earlier on, either he's not going to live to see whatever, you know, what you know, to save the galaxy and everything, to see what all the fruits of their labor is going and everything. But he believes so much that, you know, he does all this crazy stuff to make it happen.
And that's why Marva was such a threat, because that's what she said. She said, we were asleep. We kept the trade routes open. We farmed their land. And that's what they're doing on this planet. They're farming, they're providing food, they're doing the grunt work for the Empire, and they're not asleep anymore. They're not just going to lay down and let this happen. So once you start taking away the basic stuff from a machine, it starts to break down. So you stop checking the oil, you stop lubricating parts, the little stuff. It just has to be the little stuff. The machine starts to break, and that's what's happening. And I love that in DP, just what you said, like Marva is still driving this whole thing. Luthen, I don't consider him much of a rebellion leader as much as he's a manipulator. He has a purpose, but I don't think he's going to be anyone that I wouldn't fall on a sword for him. Now, Marva,
he's an agent of chaos, but
right.
If you want to call him right or wrong, I guess it's a matter. Good is always a matter of perspective, I guess, in these type of things and stuff. So what Luthen is doing, he knows he's a big hog in a wheel that's just going to keep, you know, or a machine that's just going to just going and everything, and eventually that machine may break down, or you know, may get built into something, you know, bigger and everything. But I guess his hope is Luthen is a good guy. He just does a lot of bad stuff, you know, for, I guess, the greater good.
He's factually correct. The Empire is a tyranny machine that will do nothing but oppress and murder everybody. He's actually correct. The tension, I think, in reality comes from people don't always agree that is the case, right? And there is a right or wrong to it, because it's possible, if we didn't know all the stuff we know about Star Wars since the very first movie, right, that ever came out, it would be possible to say, well, how do you even know the Emperor is that bad? And is it really that much worse than the Republic that allowed slavery everywhere?
Exactly. Right.
Even when I saw New Hope for the first time, when that ship, when the Star Destroyer took over that blockade runner, we didn't know that at the time. We weren't sure who the bad guys were. I mean, it looked like maybe the stormtroopers, you know, maybe they were the good guys. I don't know. And just because Darth Vader is all black and doesn't mean he's a bad guy. I mean, that's a stereotype, but I think Lucas used that vehicle. But I remember watching it for the first time, being like 8 years old, and thinking, well, I don't know. I like those guys. They're cool looking. I mean, I like their armor and everything, and apparently these soldiers stole something from them. That's why they were. That's not good. You want to steal from people, and if you steal something from me and I want to take it back, I'll do whatever I need to do to take it back. So you're right.
And when they introduced the Star, what did you think then?
Wait, say that again.
I said when they introduced the Death Star and started destroying planets. What did you think?
Well, at that point in the film, we kind of knew that. Well, all right. So, but still. You kind of like the Empire. I mean, they were pretty cool. They were slick, and they had cool ships.
Oh yeah.
And we don't know these Alderanians, and we didn't know what the Jedi were either. The first thing we saw was a Jedi Knight cut someone's arm off. Maybe in self-defense. Did Ben have to do that? Or could he have just done could he have force pushed Pandu Baba across the room and not cut his arm off? I mean, this poor guy has a family and children, and now he's dead.
He was escalating like a toddler, though. Like, that's how a toddler talks to you. It's like, hey, put that down. I have the Death Sister. The Death Sister's on 10 systems. No, put it down.
I'm going to cut your arm off.
Yeah.
So you can't. If you're looking at it, the big picture. I mean, right there in that scene. I mean, the Jedi seemed pretty like criminals. I mean, that was a pretty bad thing to do to somebody in a bar over nothing, really, over some words. So it's hard to say. Like we said, good. Good is objective.
It's a matter of perspective, right?
Objective. Very good. It's another great week of discussions with, like I said, this arguably is probably the greatest content we are probably going to see here in a while. And this has been the greatest, I'd say, greatest 6 hours in a long time of Star Wars. And we can even sit down and do this. It's been only 2 weeks, which is crazy if you think about it. Like, it's been 2 weeks and we've consumed 6 hours of Star Wars content.
Yeah.
Most of you,
6
I mean,
weeks.
I'm sure most of you,
Adolf Hitler told Nazi Germany wrong. It's free to send me an email about it, but good luck convincing me I'm wrong.
Good luck.
That cannot be debated.
No, it's crazy. The 6 hours in 2 weeks with another show that drops Sunday. I mean, some would say like we don't have lives or families at home, but we actually do. I just find the unique times to view for my viewership, which is usually like late hours in the day. So, guys, we appreciate everybody.
He makes his time.
For sure. Yeah. Or hey, who says we can't watch a little TV while we're working, right?
There we go.
Watch TV while you work. Hey, why not?
Why not?
I would do that.
Of course, the whole button.
Most of my work's not done at home anymore, so I really can.
Oh, right.
This and does not apply for anyone.
Yeah, that's what that iPad would be good for as well. iPad's mobile, so
lucky you guys.
Right. But no, guys, another great week. And yeah, we continue this ship rolling. We're at, I guess, the halfway point of Andor, and we're moving on to the back half, and then. Yeah, for the viewers out there, we'll kind of play it by ear as far as this Tales of the Underworld. I'll probably watch it Sunday. I'm guessing it's probably only going to be maybe like 2 hours total content. It's probably going to be 8 short stories or whatever, 6 to 8 short stories, maybe 20 minutes each. So just keep your eyes, on our page, and we'll discuss it next week. If it's something short that we can kind of fit in, but the problem is, as we discussed, we're trying to squeeze in 3 hours of content.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Even on this 1 hour, I mean, there's so many points. Like, I feel like it's just hard to get it all in as far as what we want to discuss.
Maybe you mentioned when Cyril was going to his office to pick up his data pad, the 2 Imperial soldiers. Did you see what they were watching? They were watching a pod race, and Sebulba was winning.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I mean, there's so much stuff. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
like, I wish we could watch we could watch this like live and like.
Wait. We didn't even. We keep just skipping over Cyril and Dedra. You know, I mean, I don't know why we just keep skipping over that because those
where they fit into this whole thing because they don't mesh really with what the Empire wants to do, and they're kind of like in between. They're like a mess, and are they gonna like screw things up?
Well, they screwed something.
Yeah, right.
They did to turn the lights out, Cyril.
Turn off the lights.
Turn off the lights.
I can't get your spidery. Turn the lights off, but you're spidery. Yes, we're all.
Yeah, and what's his name? Partzag's like, I don't know what to do with these kids. He's just like, get me out of here.
But yeah, I might have to take some notes for next week because I do feel like there's a lot of things we kind of glaze over because it's we try to get it in at a fair amount. But there's, like I said, we'll do a review after this because there's so much we can discuss. But if you guys, we talk about it every week. If there's things you guys see in the episodes, you can pull out or Easter eggs, please shoot us an email. It's free.
And it's free.
And yeah, we'll definitely go over that on each week's show. But until next week, guys, this is the way.
This is the way.